Welcome back to the King's Corner, the place for all things Bethesda.
He is the KingFanMan.
She is my Mississippi Queen, and we are here to talk some Bethesda and Xbox. Of course, the deal that went through yesterday, was it yesterday? But we've got more news today to talk about. And
it was day before yesterday.
Yeah, it don't matter. Was that day before yesterday?
Yeah, because yesterday, I think it was day before. I don't know. It's been crazy around here.
Well, we just got an interview. Phil Spencer, Todd Howard, Pete Hines did an interview on Xbox Podcast, and it was really cool. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about some news over the last few days. I wanted to wait a few days, see if some news came out about it, but I've been itching to talk about it with you guys. So I've got some stuff I want to talk about from the podcast, some stuff I want to talk about from interviews. So I've got my notes ready, as y'all laugh about my notes. So I'm ready to get into it with you guys. I'm going to wait till a few people get on. Oh, we've already got a bunch of people jumping on. I may even call some Bethesda guys toward the end of the podcast, see what they have to say about it. But I'm always going to answer your questions as well. So we're going to start with the podcast that happened today, talk about what was in that podcast. And then I'm going to talk about some things that was left out of that podcast. Kind of strange that they were left out of that podcast. And that's how we're going to do the format here. So do you have anything to say before we start?
I've been silent this whole time.
I know, you've been good.
He told me I could not talk in the opening today, and I had to dial it in for this. So I'm going to try to be the serious queen today.
Yeah, you're going to
I won't succeed.
I told her to read the questions in a funny way.
Hey, everybody. How do you read questions in a funny way?
You're good at it. You're really good at it. I trust you.
Somebody's got nachos.
Hey, Zoe.
Alice thinks that you're going to call like Pete Hines kind of people. That's not who he's talking about.
No.
Oh, thank you, Zoe.
Hey, she cleans up nice.
I clean up once in a while. It was a 10-minute cleanup. He was like, "Want to do a podcast?" I was like, "Seriously?"
Thank you, Britt. Great looking couple. Look at that.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, we even took a picture and posted on social media because we cleaned up today. So
all right, we're right at 20.
But hey, everybody.
So we're going to jump in talking about, because we have a lot to talk about today. Let's talk about what they did talk about in that podcast with Phil Spencer, Todd Howard, and Pete Hines. First, something we've been talking about, or I've been hearing about anyway, the Game Pass. They talked about several times about every Bethesda game. Now, y'all hear this. I heard Todd Howard say it. I heard Pete Hines say it. I never heard Phil Spencer say yes, but he never said no. He kept smiling. Every Bethesda game, all the way back cataloged, going to the Game Pass, Xbox Game Pass. Now,
even I can do that math.
Now, that would be awesome. Every Bethesda game. So you heard it from both Todd Howard and Pete Hines. Again, Phil Spencer didn't say it, but both Pete Hines and Todd Howard said that every Bethesda game is going to the Xbox Game Pass. Now, that would be very cool. And I guess since Bethesda owns, Fallout New Vegas, they own all the way back Fallout 1, Fallout 2, all of id Software's Doom 2, all those games going to Game Pass. So that is really cool. Every game that Bethesda owns going to Game Pass. That's big news right there. And if you own Game Pass, just think about how big that catalog just got just with Bethesda games.
I bet Game Pass is about to be more expensive.
No, they're not going to go up. But they were needing more games and better games. So that is really cool. One thing they didn't mention, and again, we're going to get into not mentions in a minute, but I just wanted to hit this right off the top. There was no mentions in that podcast of exclusives, and I thought that was huge that they didn't even touch on it. No questions about it. I know, I mean, that's a biggie, and everybody's wondering about that. So we'll talk about Microsoft exclusives in Bethesda in just a little bit, but not even a peep out of them in that podcast. Now, Todd Howard said something about, they were talking about there was no leaks. Even the people at Bethesda, the people working at Bethesda, did not know about this until everybody else knew about it. So we're talking about, I mean,
that's how you stop the leaks from happening.
That's right. The developers, the community managers, all those people did not know anything.
Business as usual.
They heard when me and you heard.
Ooh, Ooh.
And Todd Howard said, and you could see it the first of the, and we're going to talk about this later too. He said there was a very mix of emotions when this news came out.
Yeah.
Because Bethesda has been a private company for so long. And if y'all don't understand the difference between a private and publicly owned company, Bethesda had been privately owned, which means they could do whatever they wanted to do. Now, of course, they've got Xbox controlling them. They've got a board of directors over them. So they're basically, now it's just according to how much freedom. Again, we're going to get into all this a little bit later and get into some comments that Todd Howard has said about working for a publicly owned studio. But it's really, really big change for Bethesda, because from the very beginning, Bethesda has been a privately owned company. So he said it was a very mix of emotions, because yes, they are excited. Xbox is of course a great company, but
it's scary.
It's very scary.
It's scary to go from being your own boss to you've got other people that don't necessarily get your vision or anything else that you now answer to.
Well, and I'll give
I'll
give y'all just a hint of what I'm talking about. Todd Howard has had absolute freedom and control to do basically whatever he wants. He's had the time limits he wants. He's had the resources he wants. And I'll go ahead and tell you, I told you on a live stream, he's actually said in more than one interviews that he did not want to work for a public company, that he worked for Bethesda and he's worked there so long because it's a private company. And now he has great relationships with Xbox, so he might stay and be on board with this, but that's just on record and what he said in the past. So it's according to how much
there's a good deal built in there.
It's according to how much freedom they gave, and I'm sure him being Todd Howard, they're going to give him a lot of freedom.
Yeah, I bet it's worked into the contract.
I'm sure it is. They did ask him about Starfield, and of course, he was kind of shy about answering on Starfield. We did get confirmation that there is a new engine for Starfield, and we've already known that if we were paying attention. They've told us that everything is brand new except for the editor.
Didn't we talk about that on the last King's Cast?
Yeah,
and people were like, no, wait.
I've been telling y'all that for months and months.
We were talking about that just a couple of days ago. You were sending in questions on some comments on somebody's podcast, and somebody thought you were crazy because there was a Joey, you should really watch who you do those things with, bud. I mean,
come on.
He was right. Again.
No, we've been talking about them changing their technology, and they've been telling us, they've been hinting at this for a long time, that they've changed everything, but they love their editor. It works well for them. So everything, all the stuff, and I'm not good enough to know what all is wrapped up in an engine, but the only thing they kept was their editor. Everything else is brand new. And if y'all been watching the KingCast, I've been telling y'all this for, months and months and months. So, yes, it's a brand new engine for Starfield and for the Elder Scrolls.
Garrett, it is great that he said, hey, King, I think this could be beneficial. The head of Microsoft said he will keep his freedom, talking about him, of course. They just want to boost the funding so that we don't have to wait a decade for every series. And that's true. What this is going to do is, y'all, money, everything spins around the money, especially in the middle of COVID right now. Regardless of your feelings on all of that, it's impacted the economy in major, crazy ways. And so as fast as they were even trying to go, it came to a screeching halt, I'm sure. Just like so much of everything else. I realized they were working from home and whatever, but it's still different. So this is going to give them the availability to be so much better, so much quicker.
Well, of course, and that's one of the main reasons I'm sure Bethesda did what they did, was for the resources, because it's definitely going to give them a lot more resources to be able to do what they want to do. Absolutely.
River Rat says Starfield is just a myth. I don't think it's a myth.
That's cool. Speaking of Starfield, now this is very cool. This is also something that I talked about a long time ago, but Todd brought it up again. Back when they did Morrowind and Oblivion, Bethesda actually changed the size of 2 consoles. Now, this is really cool to think about. 2 games in Bethesda's history actually changed the size of consoles. They specifically talked about Oblivion changing, what would that be, the Xbox 360, I guess? I'm not really good with memory right now, but whatever.
It's the lupus.
It's the lupus. But Morrowind did it as well. But Oblivion, they kept going back and saying, can you up the memory? Can you up the memory? And of course, they talked in this podcast about actually having a party that they doubled, that Xbox doubled the memory, and they did it specifically for Bethesda with Oblivion. And I wonder if
double
Starfield,
the memory sounds amazing.
I wonder if Starfield has actually made an impact on what this new Xbox has. Because they've been working hand in hand this whole time because they always have. Microsoft and Bethesda Game Studios have always. But speaking on the Todd Howard, I saw several comments about this. It is all about his comfort zone. It's all about if things change within the company. And I think that's what we've been hearing from Phil Spencer. They don't really want things to change within Bethesda. Bethesda is successful. All they want to do is give Bethesda the resources to let them be successful. And if Bethesda is successful, then Xbox is successful. And I know somebody was asking on the live stream yesterday, and I know this is probably going to be a question today that we're getting. Then how is Xbox going to get their $7.5 billion? That's with a B. I can't even think that high.
Is that even a real number?
It's a real number, yes. How is Xbox going to get their money back out of Bethesda? Guys, think about the money that Bethesda makes, and they make a lot of money. What Xbox just purchased was a money-making machine, especially with BGS. BGS, you look at, you look at simple little things. The mobile game Fallout.
Thanks, Zoe, thank you.
The mobile game Fallout Shelter is their largest.
Sure thing, Britt.
How do you say it? Their largest making game. Their highest
undertaking endeavor.
No, it's their highest paying game of all time. A little mobile game.
That's because times are changing.
But no, you think of little bitty things they done. You think of Fallout 76 not being a success. I guarantee you they've made bukus of money off Fallout 76.
This is kind of different, but I thought of you the other day. I got an email about a new iPad that's out, and it's talking about how it's got enough memory and stuff so you can play your games on it. Like that was the big push, that you could do real gaming with it. And I was like, oh my goodness, it's hitting iPad now too. So it's the future of gaming. I mean, as much as you like your PC and different things, the next generation, not next gen, but the next generation, they either want the huge screens or they want the little thing they can hold in their hand and do it with.
They're still making money off Fallout Shelter. Elder Scrolls Online has made a lot of money. But you look back.
Oh gosh, Wolfman loves Minecraft, y'all. He is 19 and he has played Minecraft for 10 years.
Yeah.
And it's still it was his first really game, and you started with him, and he loves Minecraft to this day. All the kids come over when they're in from college and they have Minecraft gaming nights. Seriously. So yeah.
But people were worried, without the exclusives, how is Xbox going to make their money back? Trust me, with Bethesda Softworks and Bethesda Game Studios, they are going to make their money back. These are money-making machines, especially with Bethesda Game Studios. As Joey Caps, I know he's back there lurking, likes to say, they are what does he say? Oh, what does he say? They're a cow. What is it? What is it?
Joey, what do you say?
Dang, I missed it, Joe. I had it in my mind. I missed it. Oh, well.
It's the lupus.
It is the lupus. Did Fallout Shelter 2 release in China? I know they have that different Fallout Shelter in China. I'm not sure if it's the Fallout Shelter 2, but yes, that different Fallout Shelter is going on in China that looks really, really cool. that we can't get.
Okay.
Yes, it's
We
going
got
on
to
in
pause
China.
for the cause for a minute. Y'all are going to see me yawning. I am not tired. I have a migraine. It's one of the things I do with a migraine. And it's okay, guys, that I have a migraine. We've got leaks going on. I had a friend whose daughter was missing last night.
Yeah, she came back. We got her, though.
She's home. Yeah. She's okay, but I'm pulling out carpet and all that stuff is just getting in my head. So no worries.
Garrett says on top of the Outer Worlds was a $60 game with 25 hours of content, not 200 plus base game content like Bethesda does. Not even on the same level as Bethesda. Amen. I agree 100%. People thought it was going to be I think that rivalry should go away. Absolutely. But now, hey, they're in the same, they owned by the same company. So
I miss you.
Now I know everybody's talking about a New Vegas too, but maybe they'll collaborate one of these days.
Wait, can I borrow a piece of paper?
Sure, you absolutely can. What are you going to do?
I'm going to do something funny. Because I'm supposed to ask questions in a funny way, but I can't. I'm trying to be a little more businessy today. Have y'all noticed?
Zoe says, Microsoft is getting back into VR. They have a new headset. They've been working with Valve on TES 6 VR. Or have they been? Probably so. It was neat to hear Phil talking about knowing what Bethesda's future projects are. No way. No way.
Yawn. Y'all are all going to be yawning in a minute.
Oh, would you quit? She's so silly.
I said you saying yawn made me yawn.
Joey says, don't rule out Obsidian and a BGS collaboration of some sort, King. Yeah, I think the fans would love that. Will it be a Fallout? Will it be something like that in the future? Could it be the next Fallout? That would be really cool. I think fans would love that now that they are under the same company. That would be really neat. King, you excited for SEC football? Yes, I am, even though we're not back yet. We're playing Georgia this week. Oh, man, what a way to start off. But yes, I'm very excited. I'm excited for this. I hope Xbox provides Bethesda with a lot of resources so they can better achieve their visions. And they will, absolutely. Again, the one thing they did not mention in this podcast was exclusives. I want to go over, quit that, Trey. No go dogs. No go dogs on my podcast. It is all about hogs. Go Hogs, okay? If we're going to talk football, it's going to have to be Razorbacks. The one thing I do want to say about exclusives, because I know people are really nervous about exclusives. Just hearing what I've heard over the last few days, and of course, I'm not in any position to give you an inside scoop or anything. This is just my opinion and my take on it. I'm going to tell you, as far as BGS goes, I don't think you're going to see a BGS exclusive, a full-on BGS exclusive. I really don't. I think, if anything, you will see a timed exclusive. But before you go, whoa, remember, you have seen, go Pigs, yeah. Before you get upset with the timed exclusive, if you go back to Fallout 4 had a lot of Xbox timed exclusives. Do y'all not remember? Every DLC, Xbox got it first. Every one of them. Every DLC, Xbox got it, a week, 2 weeks before? Sony had to wait. So the timed exclusives for Xbox has been here. So don't really worry about the exclusives. You're going to get, sometimes you need to see what's going on behind the camera. Queen just about fell on her head.
That is twice.
Yes, it is Woo Pig Suey. That's what it is.
Your stuff.
They're talking about the Razorbacks, and you're missing it.
Oh, my gracious. Y'all. Your mess is going to make me break a toe.
Yes, Obsidian can legally use the creation engine. Absolutely can. So exclusives, I believe you're going to see more exclusives, probably like you're seeing with Deathloop, games like that. I believe it will be more from the Bethesda Softworks companies that they publish. But now I would hate to see a like Wolfenstein exclusive, a full on Wolfenstein exclusive. But you might see that. You might see them try to make one of those mainstay games from the Bethesda Softworks, what they publish, a exclusive. Because Xbox, let's face it, Xbox does need some more good games as exclusive games. So,
Jersey, that was so close. We got to teach you to spell Suey the Razorback
yeah,
way.
it's woo, pig, and then Sooey.
No. Oh my
Yes,
gosh.
it is.
It's the lupus. Sooie.
Yeah, that's true. I'm sorry. Yes, it does. I'm sorry. Guys, my memory.
Okay, what I realized when all this news broke the other day, I came in and I said, like, I saw it on Twitter, and I came in and he was hurting, and I was like, so I guess this means you want the new Xbox now.
Yes, when we can afford it, I want the Xbox. I saw
how much is that thing going to cost?
I saw somebody else back there saying, and y'all are commenting so much, and thank you for the comments. I can't read them all.
So glad you guys are here.
But somebody said, "I'm so glad I bought the Xbox X," and I agree with you. Not that the Sony's a bad thing at all, but yes, I think Bethesda doing this is going to make people buy the Xbox more, and that's exactly what Xbox wants. Without doing any exclusives, guys, you're going to have a lot of people right now that are Bethesda fans buying the Xbox, and that's exactly. See, there's Joey. He bought the Series X.
I am always the king spell check. You guys should know.
533.18. Are they still sold out? They probably are now. With this news.
My gosh.
Yeah, we can't afford that. But anyway.
Yeah, we're not going to be getting that.
Trey says, I'm afraid of first generation console. I understand. I want to wait just a little bit.
But you go right ahead.
But that's exactly what they want. Again, back to the question, how is Xbox going to make their money back from $7.9 billion? Y'all will not believe just this news, how much it's going to spike Xbox sales.
Oh, everything's jumping right now.
Another thing in that podcast, Todd Howard said, I could not believe how the internet blew up yesterday. YouTube, please don't demonetize me for saying that word. But that's what Todd Howard said. He could not believe it. And it's true. I mean, you know how, especially with BGS, any news with BGS, it just goes crazy. Timmy, I'm about to get to that. I promise. It's the next thing on my list. It's on my notes. I promise. But this definitely made the sales of Xbox go through the roof, and I can't wait to see the third quarter. Would it be the third quarter sales? Yeah, third quarter sales of Xbox, and to see what kind of gains they got for this. Okay, Timmy asks, will we finally get the remaster now? Okay, I've got good news and bad news on BGS remasters.
Bad news first.
Bad news first?
Bad news. Always bad news first.
Okay. I'm going to tell you a story about NASA for the bad news. Do y'all know the moon landing? Y'all know about the moon landing? This is not a conspiracy theory, okay? I'm not getting into conspiracy theory. But do y'all know the moon landing? They have lost all the original film of the moon landing. They've lost all the original coordinates of the moon landing. They've lost everything of how to get there. You can ask anybody in NASA. They don't have any of the original film.
Have you talked to those people?
They've done interviews about it. They don't have any of the original film, any of the original. All this stuff is gone.
Don't encourage him.
So what does that have to do with gaming? Okay, that's been a long time ago. So who knows? It's probably in a box somewhere in a warehouse that they mislabeled.
There you go.
This is the deal with Fallout 3. They say, and Joe, you can probably help me with the language because I'm going to get the language wrong. On the older games, it's almost like they have to make them from scratch. The game itself cannot be taken and worked on.
They have to make it in a new form.
They have to remake.
It needs a new host body.
They have to totally remake the game. They can't remaster the game. They have to remake the game. Is it the plate of the game? Am I saying it right?
I don't know.
Yeah, Joey says they would actually have to remake the game. They cannot take Fallout 3. They cannot take the Fallout 3 game and do anything with it. They would literally have to remake it. So, in a sense, you would actually be playing a totally different game. Now, I guess you could still use the same voices. So we would have that. And you would have, the same dialogue choices and that. But it would be a totally different game. So that's the bad news. The good news is, with Xbox, they do like remastering. And Joey just said it. That's the good news. So if there was ever a time to get Bethesda remasters, now is it. And they have the resources and the studios to do it. It's not going to take away from what Bethesda's doing. Bethesda does not have to use one of their studios to do it. Xbox can do it on their own. Xbox can say, hey, Fallout 3, a new Fallout 3 would sell. So while y'all are doing the new projects, we're going to take Fallout 3 and see what we can do with it. And if the high-ups in Bethesda say, okay, which I'm sure there has to be some they probably don't even have to say okay, because Xbox now owns it, you see. They can probably do whatever they want to with it. But they would probably, out of courtesy, say, is that okay?
7.5 billion is definitely better resources. You should just call him.
Yes. And I believe I heard it is actually the biggest transaction in gaming history. Y'all can look that up. Make sure you can probably Google it right now. But I do believe it is the biggest transaction in gaming history. If not, it's right there at the top. I heard that yesterday or day before. But it's right there at the top.
I just can't even fathom that amount of money. I seriously cannot fathom.
So, Timmy, to your point of remasters, we have the best chance ever of getting a Fallout 3 remaster, a Fallout New Vegas remaster. But the bad news is it is a huge project. And that's why we haven't got it yet. And that may be why we haven't got it to a Switch port, is because they're having a hard time taking those old games and doing anything with them. It's like, just think of the NASA moon landing. That's why I gave y'all that. Now you'll never forget it, see? Okay, a subject I hate to bring up. I brought it up on the live stream, but it's something that needs to be addressed. And I mentioned it a little bit earlier about the mixed emotions at Bethesda and the comment that Todd Howard made. Will Todd Howard retire after Starfield or after the Elder Scrolls? I mean, are we getting to the end of Todd Howard's reign? He's had a great career. I mean, in gaming, he's one of the very top. There's no doubt. He's always wanted to make Starfield. There's no doubt he's staying through Starfield. If the Elder Scrolls is a big enough pull on him, he loves the Elder Scrolls. It's his baby. I can see him staying for another 4 years after the Elder Scrolls. He's still a young man, though. He looks our age. Would you say Todd Howard's about our age?
Yeah, maybe.
About? Mm-hmm. So, I mean, he's not to retirement age.
He's a little bit younger than us.
He's not. So, Todd, if you're listening, I'm not saying your retirement age, but guys, he's got enough money, okay? It's according to what he wants to do.
Well, and I mean, it's like an athlete in their prime. It's better to go out on top than it is to go out when you're on the downhill side of whatever's going on. I mean, this whole thing
Don't age yourself, guys.
This whole thing is huge.
Mhm.
I mean, so he's got a couple of 3 years to play with where it's just an awesome time. And oh my gosh, if I could retire with his money and just do what, I mean, he could sit home and be a guest on the King's Cast.
But some people, and it's maybe.
Hey, you were supposed to say something.
I agree. But some people, and I think he's this way. Gaming's been his life.
Right, you're coming back to Xbox. That's for sure.
Gaming has been his life, and it's just according to how much gaming is his life.
Don't age ourselves. I'm ready and waiting for my coupons to come in the mail. I'm like knocking on that door so hard.
I can either see Starfield or the Elder Scrolls 6 being his last. Guys, I cannot see him going after Elder Scrolls 6. And that's just me, especially with
the
this
babies
happening.
He's working on right now.
Yeah.
Just finish those and then exit.
Yeah, I can see.
And somebody said he's bound to be grooming someone. I'm sure there is someone in the works that's being groomed alongside.
I hope so. I really hope so.
Yeah.
But yeah, I definitely see these two games, and that's a great point. Elder Scrolls 6 is already being worked on right now. So
yeah, I mean, it's nothing new. It's stuff that he's just gonna. I'm sure he'll see those projects through.
Yeah.
Because there is babies. I mean, if you've worked in any type of field like that, whether I don't know, I used to work in a law firm, and I didn't quit until we were done with the big major cases that we had been working on. So yeah, you stay and wait. Are y'all impressed that I'm a little more serious today?
Garrett said he'd take a small fraction of the 7.5 billion. I would take the money that Todd Howard makes today. That's what I would take. So
I would take a fourth of the money that Todd Howard makes today.
And
still feel rich.
Johnny says, so I have a really, 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 really important question. Are you guys going to go as the Presleys for Halloween?
No. No, we are not.
No.
I
got my Elvis outfit.
No.
Well,
he can go as Elvis.
I got my Elvis outfit.
Ooh,
so I
have a comment, but you would be so mad at me for it.
I got my Elvis outfit. So if he answers, I'm gonna call Joey Caps and see what he's thinking right now. If he answers, sometimes he don't answer me, so we'll see if he answers.
He gets stage fright sometimes.
Oh, he don't get stage fright.
What does Ripple have? Social anxiety. He's awesome, though.
He is awesome.
Hey, if you guys haven't subbed yet to Joey's channel, go sub. Joey, come on, dude. Pick up the Skype.
The person whom you're trying to reach is currently unavailable. Please leave a message.
What the heck is that voice?
That's my British girl. There he is. I knew he wouldn't let me down. Hey, Brother Joe.
Hey, what's going on?
I may need to move the microphone. Y'all tell me if y'all can hear Brother Joe.
Can you hear me?
Can you hear me now? Hey, that was a song.
Can you hear me now? Yeah.
That's not how it went.
It was in the 80s. It's been a long time ago.
In the 80s? I wasn't even born yet.
We know. You're the age of our daughter.
Yeah. Would you quit aging us? I do a podcast with him all the time. They don't have to know that.
We're the old people of gaming.
Oh my gosh. You just gave away way too much.
Sorry.
Oh gosh.
Thank you for having me, King.
Maybe we should be Gramps and Grams.
Okay, I wanted to ask
Gammy and Gampy.
I wanted to ask you a few things. First, just your overall impression of what's going on. Just give me a rundown.
With Microsoft and
Microsoft,
Bethesda.
Yeah, and the podcast today. Did you hear the podcast today?
Yes.
Dude,
yeah, actually,
we're in
making
our
a video
20s.
about it. And it's interesting to hear what Pete Hines had to say in regards to Game Pass, and he did say, I don't know if you picked up on this, King, but he did say that they work so hard on their games that they try to get their games out to as many people as possible. So, with that being said, does that mean that in the near future, if Bethesda games as a whole, if they will even be exclusives to Microsoft or Xbox?
Yeah. That is a very good question. I talked right at the first of the podcast that exclusives were not even mentioned at all. So that's a great point. I like that.
Hey Joey.
Yeah.
Remember that podcast you were on yesterday or the day before?
My own?
Was it yours?
Yeah, it was his.
It was a collaboration, yes, between me and Demarco Dude, yes.
Yeah, remember when King said it was a new engine?
Yeah, I believe so. Well, they were arguing about like an engine, about how King said that it should be a new engine. Yeah.
Guess who was right?
Well, I'm always right, baby. I'm always right.
Well, they said they were reworking it. They didn't say no. They said it reworked.
Johnny says 80s were the greatest. I was born in 1978.
80s were awesome.
Yeah, 80s music
Johnny,
was great.
You're still young.
80s music was great. You were born after Elvis died. Johnny, you missed the greatest.
You're so young. Okay, if I was born in 78.
You weren't.
I'm trying to think how much younger I would feel.
You weren't.
I would feel almost a decade younger.
Yeah, you would. You would. Yeah, I was really excited to hear both Todd Howard and Pete Hines say that all Bethesda games were coming to Game Pass. I mean, I noticed that Phil didn't say it, but both Pete Hines and Todd Howard said it. So do you think that really means that all Bethesda games are coming to Game Pass?
I think it's a matter of time. You're Microsoft and you spend $7.5 billion. It's a matter of time before every single Bethesda game comes to Game Pass.
Yeah.
It's going to happen. It's owned by Microsoft.
Yeah.
So they own all those games. They're coming to Game Pass.
Absolutely.
Hey, do we have an admin on here?
Yeah.
Vault Girl's on here, right? Can
you
throw up Joey's channel and DeMarco's channel?
Oh, thanks, guys.
Because I'm just giving Demarco Dude grief. That's all. It's all in good fun. It's all. Don't anybody think it's serious. We just have fun with each other. But if you can throw the, maybe we're not having fun with each other. If you can throw those up, there's Joey's.
There's me.
There's Joey.
I don't know if she can find Demarco Dudes. Zoe says, personally, I like the 60s sound pretty good. Yeah, as long as it's Elvis singing in the 60s, it's really good. No, I like some of the 60s too. I love the 50s as well.
Wolfman is a 50s kind of guy and 60s.
Nice.
Yeah.
I heard a lot of people saying that how is Xbox going to get, almost $8 billion back of their money back without exclusives. And I hope today that at least we've calmed your fears about that, talking about just how much they've probably made just in Xbox purchases because Bethesda has come on board with them. Don't you agree with that, Joe? I mean, they have made so much money just because of this purchase.
It's not even that. During the pre-order fiasco yesterday, right? I was sitting at my computer for like 3 hours trying to get a Series X. But apparently so many people purchased an Xbox One X. So I believe the sales were like 700% up or something insane. So they made a ton of money yesterday.
Yeah, absolutely.
A ton.
I cannot wait to see their figures from this past week and probably, a week or two after this news about what happened after this news.
Do you think the rumors of Xbox and Sega partnership are true?
Oh, I don't know. Wouldn't
that be cool?
That would be interesting.
Sega.
Scuba says, this is weird. I'm wearing a shirt that says King with a crown on it. Hey, that's a good shirt. That's a good
Well,
shirt.
I think it's weird because of my shirt. Where's your queen shirt? Am I not your queen?
That's kind of weird to wear. I just, Johnny says, I was raised by my grandparents, so I got Bing Crosby, Elvis Presley, and so
Thank you,
much
Vault
more.
Girl.
There will never be another Elvis or Bing Crosby. I agree.
Yes,
100%.
absolutely agree.
I agree 100%.
Thanks, Vault Girl. There is Demarco Dudes channel as well. You guys go make sure you've liked both of those.
Yeah, both Joey and Demarco do great stuff. Absolutely. I love both of them. Y'all know how much I like Joey.
Do you watch have you watched Big Bang?
Big Bang Theory?
Yes.
Yeah, the show.
Here and there. I'm not an avid watcher.
What were you going to
sorry,
show?
why?
Joe. Okay, you know when they're trying to get the tickets to Comic-Con and they're all like sitting on the couch and they're like, okay, it opens in 3.
Oh, they're gonna call you.
1, and they're all on their computers trying to get everything. That's what Joey was doing
yesterday. Yeah.
Me, my wife, we were going crazy.
It's like, who can get in and get it?
Scuba, it is it's Razorback game week, so I've got to wear my Razorback gear. Even though we're playing a really tough team and we're going to struggle this year, I've still got to keep the spirit up.
His Queen shirt is not even in his suitcase, which means it's not one of his favorite shirts.
I can't wear it when I'm gone, so I can't put it in the suitcase. Okay, you're getting off topic here.
I was professional.
We're supposed to be talking.
I was professional until Joey came, and now I'm back to being me. Sorry.
Me and Joe can talk gaming. You can be you.
I'll try to reel it back in. I'm sorry.
Let me just go. Let me just talk. Go over some of these things with you, Joe. Get your opinion. I know you've been listening to what we were talking about, but I talked about Game Pass. I talked about that the rest of Bethesda did not even know until we did. So it was only a few at the top, being Todd Howard, Pete Hines, and maybe a few Zenimax. But I wonder what's going to happen to Zenimax itself. It's going to go away, I guess.
I guess so. I don't know. I mean, I thought it was nuts listening in Todd Howard saying that, a lot of the people who work there just learned when we were learning about the news.
I think I would be
crazy.
upset.
Like, whoa! Imagine that.
Yeah.
Imagine.
I think I would be upset. Like, why didn't they put everybody in a room, take all cell devices, like at least 15 minutes before the news broke, and tell everybody?
And this is, and I'm going to tread lightly here, and y'all are going to have to just kind of.
I mean, I understand it from their standpoint. They couldn't risk the leak.
Y'all are going to have to listen in between my words, okay? But Zenimax, within the last year or so, has kind of been doing some strange things financially.
Shady is the word he's looking for.
No, strange.
Strange.
They, and I don't know how to say it without just coming and talking about it, but they've just been doing some strange things.
It's not looked good.
And you wonder if this was kind of done behind Zenimax, and they're doing away with Zenimax, if you know what I mean. Because, I mean, this was basically sounded like Pete Hines, Todd Howard, and Xbox talked, and Zenimax is going away. Because obviously Todd Howard and Pete Hines was in on the deal. They knew about it.
Like when you have kids and you warn them, if you keep doing this is, you better straighten your act up or there's consequences. Ooh, that's a big old consequence.
Some people don't know what I mean. If you don't know what the company was doing, if you don't know how they were handling their finances and stuff, you're not going to know what I mean. They were taking money from other companies. And I'm not saying it was illegal. It wasn't illegal, not anything like that. But what made the games change and why they were putting pressure on Bethesda, they were taking in major sums of money from other companies that didn't do gaming just to get an influx of money and then having to pay it back.
This saying you robbed Peter to pay Paul.
Yeah.
It's not wrong.
But it was just strange, okay? Which may have been the reason why this happened, because Zenimax was having troubles like that. I don't know. Again, I'm not into their records or anything, but you've just seen this over the last couple of years.
Yeah, well, now they're going to have a hit out on you. Be like, King's trying to...
So, but I don't know if you knew any of that, Joe, or looked into any of that, but it was kind of a strange situation. But
I mean,
all Zenimax did was the operations part, so that's going to be handled by Xbox now. So you wonder if Zenimax is no more.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I'm not a big fan. I think someone made a comment just now that 76 was put out too early. And I think
absolutely.
That
you know,
they saw dollar signs for an online Fallout title. And, they stink. I'm glad that Microsoft bought them, honestly.
But
I don't think they're going to monopolize the franchises either.
But you see why sometimes they were under pressure. They had to pay back the money they had borrowed.
Yeah.
So they would borrow money and give it to a studio. Here, you've got this money to do it. But they had a time crunch when they had to pay it back. So now they've got the money from Xbox to do what they need. There's no time crunch unless Xbox puts them under a time crunch.
And let's be clear, that's not illegal.
No,
to do
it's not illegal.
That is survival when finances are tight. That is just survival.
But it can also put you under really quick.
It can put you in a bind. You can sink
quickly. You've seen game companies go under because one bad project like that will put you under.
Well, I mean, that can happen at home in your finances. I mean, we're juggling some things right now, and I'm like, okay, we're putting this and this off.
Which one do you pay?
So we can take care of this. And he specifically said, well, at least the house isn't going to go into foreclosure this month. It'll be okay. And I was like, yeah, we're good. So, I mean, sometimes you just have to juggle.
Yeah.
And it's a...
Wartone, Bethesda was a private company. Zenimax was a private company. Now, of course, it got bought out by Xbox. And that's what's kind of, I've been looking and been noticing, it's all Xbox and Bethesda. I have not heard the word Zenimax said at all.
Yeah, me either.
So somebody back here said, so does that mean no more E3s?
No, I believe there's still going to be a BE3. I believe.
Don't you think it's like a tradition? They'll just carry on. It's okay. It doesn't matter that Grandpa's footing the bill.
See, you've seen Todd Howard on Xbox stage a lot. He actually announced Fallout 76. If you remember, the launch trailer for Fallout 76 actually happened on Microsoft stage. Do y'all remember that? It actually happened. The first time we saw Fallout 76 was on Microsoft stage. Joey, do you remember that?
Oh yeah,
blew me away. But it wasn't on Bethesda stage. It was on Microsoft stage. But yes, I still believe we'll have BE3 because I believe Xbox is going to try to leave Bethesda as Bethesda. They're going to try to just give them the resources to do what they do. They bought Bethesda because Bethesda is successful. And when I say Bethesda, I mean the old Bethesda, Bethesda Softworks, Bethesda as a whole.
Yeah, King. If you don't mind me saying,
no, go.
Microsoft knew what they were doing, and I left a comment earlier. Knew what they were doing when purchasing Bethesda. They knew there's so much money to be made, and they do such a great job.
Cash cow. That I remembered what your word was from a long time. Cash cow.
Cash cow. Yeah, they knew what they were doing. I think we're going to see remasters. I think we will. And to have BGS and Obsidian under the same roof is also huge. It's huge. So they knew what they were doing with this acquisition. They knew.
Manga Kai said, I know what you mean. You pay the credit card and then you use the credit card to pay the internet service provider.
That's exactly
what we mean.
Boy.
I should have used that. That's what
Hey,
Zenimax was good.
Plasman. Yeah, that's exactly. I mean, sometimes you just have to juggle it. And somebody said it's just bad business management. It's not always bad business management or bad financial management at home. Sometimes it's just survival. You know, we had some medical stuff come up that we weren't expecting, and you know, we don't have a padded fund there to take care of stuff. So we had to decide, do we take care of the medical stuff or do we take care of, I mean, literally the house payment? And it was, which one do we pause? And we couldn't pause the medical stuff. And it's the same way with this. Sometimes you just have to take a gamble and do the best you can and hope it works, but it doesn't always work out.
Yeah. Zoe says if EA would have bought Bethesda, I would cry. Yeah.
Oh, jeez. I would throw up, not only cry.
Yeah.
King would have been crying. Joey would have been puking.
Now, something that
I've been going, what's going on?
Something that they stressed, and one thing I haven't talked about yet, but I think it's important. They stressed relationships. This is something that goes back all the way to when Bethesda was still just a PC game maker. If you think about it, Bethesda and Microsoft have been tied at the hip forever, since probably before most of y'all were playing games. I know I have a lot of fans on here that are older as well, but
okay, we're not older. We're not. I don't know what you call us,
You
but
guys aren't
it's
old.
not older.
I'm sorry, ma'am. Will you forgive me, madam?
I don't know what we are, but we're not older.
Some of us played PC games before the consoles came out, where, you know, Bethesda actually made the PC games, and Todd and Pete actually told about Microsoft were the ones that actually helped Bethesda first bring their games to console. They didn't know how to do it.
I remember when you were upset that your games had to go on the console and you couldn't play them on the PC
on the
time.
computer. Yeah. So what is this stupid thing? I want it on the computer.
He was so mad.
How games change.
That's awesome.
But, you know, that was really a good and relatable story to tell, and, you know, a true story. So that's how far their relationship goes back with Microsoft. And let's just be blunt. I'm sure Sony wouldn't have done that for them.
Do you imagine? Do you think like it's even sunk in yet? I mean, can you imagine this being your baby and then being how many years? How old is Bethesda?
They go back to the 80s.
Yeah.
Okay, so I mean, really not that old, but can you imagine this being your baby and coming up and being like, oh my gosh, I never envisioned that this is where it would wind up, like that little idea that you had in the back of your head to start this company, and you know, you got to start up and you're struggling.
If y'all want to know, by the way, where Bethesda started and how they started, I have a video on the beginnings of Bethesda that goes through
watch it.
The very start of the company all the way
Great
through.
Video.
All the way through where Todd Howard comes on. So it's pretty cool. They did some really strange games. They did Where's Waldo? They did Home Alone.
Waldo was a big deal back in the day.
Yeah, but they did
not that we're old.
Bethesda did the first Madden football. Did y'all know that?
Yes, I remember that on the video.
Yeah, so
hockey.
A lot of hockey. Yeah. So things have changed a lot in Bethesda land. Well, Joe, was there anything that stuck out in that podcast? Anything else that stuck out in that podcast to you that you wanted to bring out to us?
Yeah, I mean, it was funny how Todd Howard handled himself. Like, it was as soon as Major Nelson, Larry Erb, he approached him about Starfield. He just said Starfield, and Todd Howard was like, and you know, he looked so uncomfortable.
Yeah, he did. He
looked so uncomfortable. It's like he didn't know what to say. It's just he said the same things he said before.
Yeah, he didn't want that question. You could tell.
Yeah, so I think Starfield is close. I think it's close.
Yeah, I think me and you are still agreed that especially if things get back to normal, we're going to see it at E3 this coming year.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, you could see that little glint in his eye, but you could also tell. I agree 100%. He did not want that question asked. No. Like, why in the world did you ask me that question? Yeah,
That was not on the pre-approved list of questions.
no.
His face turned so red.
But Joe, I'm so glad I called because you really brought out a great thing that Pete Hines brought out, that they want to get their games out to as many people as they can. So maybe exclusives won't be as big of a deal as people think. I don't think they will. I've been right off the bat saying that BGS won't do exclusives, but I don't think we'll see near as many exclusives as people think.
See, I could see both sides though, because if you look at it, right, Microsoft has been Xbox. People have always said that that the PlayStation has better exclusives, right? So, I mean, after really Gears of War, after Halo on the Xbox, what else is there? Like big iconic names. You can name a ton for Sony, and just, they come out with new iconic names like Days Gone, and the newer game, I forgot the name of it. But it's just like you spend $7.5 billion on Bethesda, and it's like, all right, do we hit a home run here? Do we have Starfield? Do we have Elder Scrolls 6 as exclusives, so we bring people over so they could buy our consoles? Or do you have how Pete Hines talked about it, how he said we want people to play our games, everyone to play our games. So you can look at it from both sides, really.
Well, I will say this. If there is one BGS game that would make the best exclusive, it would be Starfield.
I was saying it's Starfield.
Because Fallout and the Elder Scrolls, I just cannot see them ever
Pulling
making them exclusives. Because they are so beloved and have been, on both.
I don't know.
But Starfield being a brand new IP, something brand new,
maybe.
If they ever did one, that would be it.
Yeah.
That would be it. But, whew.
And they could always do it for a time and then release it later.
Timed exclusives that's going to happen. I'm telling you, that's already been here anyway, and that's what I've tried to calm people down. It was here during Fallout 4.
Maybe they're going to send you an Xbox just for being amazing.
Being so amazing.
Yeah.
I love Bethesda and Xbox. No, that didn't do it. You do it. You do it, honey. You look better than I do. I just ruined it, didn't I? I'm sorry.
I just had flashbacks to a sermon one day.
Well, guys, we're to that part of the podcast where if you have any questions left, shoot them to us. You can ask me, you can ask Queen, you can ask Joe, because we've got about 5 minutes left in the podcast.
Don't ask me.
Well, if you want a funny answer.
Hey, I tried to be more professional today.
You did great, and I'm so proud of you. Thank you. And
I do have a professional side. You guys just don't typically see it.
And you're a lot prettier than me and Joe, too. So.
Well,
Yeah, Joe's prettier than I am, but
I think I'm gonna go.
Nice.
I think for Halloween I'm gonna go as Is it Morticia?
No, you need to be the Bride of Frankenstein.
Yeah,
you have that
Bride of Frankenstein.
You have that perfect gray streak going
Look at
on
that.
right there.
Can you guys see it?
Yeah, we can see it.
You guys are awesome. You guys are hilarious.
And look, there's a bald spot in the middle of it, but I don't know that it's bald or just because my hair is so much lighter right
Why
there
don't we talk about it right here on the podcast?
Yeah.
That would be a good thing.
Well,
to do.
I'm trying to hold up to my reputation.
Being a crazy wacko.
Yeah.
Well, Joe, thank you for coming on.
Thank you, King. I appreciate it, man.
Y'all be sure.
Queen, thank you.
Thanks, Joey.
Y'all be sure and subscribe to Joey Caps Gaming. I heard your channel's doing great.
It's doing better.
Way to go.
Tell us real quick what's going on your channel.
I'm covering what I want to cover, and I'm having fun doing it. And I'm live streaming. I'm going to live stream tonight, so I'm excited.
Awesome.
And that's what matters. I'm enjoying it, I'm seeing growth.
You took the pressure off of yourself.
Yeah.
Way to go.
I'm trying.
Awesome.
You're awesome.
Well, thanks, guys. I appreciate it.
Joe, you have a great day. Everybody
well.
else, y'all have a great day.
I think our chat froze.
Yeah, we'll be back. And if y'all are asking questions, I'm sorry.
We
the
can't
chat
see
froze.
them.
We will be back to talk another day. We'll be back Saturday at 4:30.
Will we?
Yeah, we will. Bye, guys.
Bye, y'all. See
Thank
you
y'all
later.
for stopping in.